Hello, everyone. It's such a wonderful day today. Yeah, and although it's like -7, it's quite cold, but since it's February and the sun is quite warm already, and I had this intensive workout of this walking Qigong steps, I'm sweating. I feel like very hot now. And this is really cool when everything around is like frozen, but internally you're so hot, like as if you've been melting the entire snow all over the place. It's really cool. So maybe you've noticed that I've added one more step into the walking qigong, and this step, the one that we had a look at in this playlist regarding walking qigong. So this step um, for the backward central meridian. And there is a strong reason for that because um, when you're young, your health is okay, and you don't care much about um, all these issues that you start encountering when you're getting older. But when you're getting older, the shift towards healing instead of all this like interacting with the outer world, martial arts stuff that I've been up with for a long time before, it's like goes away and this health related stuff comes down to the first place. So I'm living in a very stressful uh, time and world. I'm from Ukraine, yeah, just speaks for itself really. And as a side effect, because of being stressed most of the time basically, it doesn't benefit heart a lot. And it makes heart uh, also stressed and tensed and all stuff like that. And this results in blood pressure going like insane. So like, high blood pressure is like the biggest issue. But not just the high blood pressure, and soon I want to talk about this in a little bit more details. And today's video is all dedicated to two particular steps that helps me bring my blood pressure to a normal level. And I'm not talking about some sort of pills that you can take and get this working. It's not working that way. So, like, I'm doing this Qigong stuff for almost 20 years, and yet I don't feel like it works all well for me. Uh, every single day, I have a new training. I feel like I've just started learning, and like it always comes anew, like from scratch, like as if every single training that I have that was like the very first training in my life, because I reveal all these things related to how she works internally, and um, I thought I know everything, but the more I live, the more issues I encounter, and the more realization comes with this practice, the more interesting it becomes because I could never imagine we have so many interesting things within inside us. So today's video, I want to dedicate this, like telling you, showcasing you my research on how I deal with high blood pressure. So it's not a tutorial. I'm not teaching anyone to try this at home or something. So you better probably not because you may just hurt yourself and not sure what exactly you're doing. But those principles that I would be talking about and those physical mechanisms related, tied up to those principles, and how the motion of the physical body may influence the blood pressure. This might be interesting from the perspective of your consciousness, and then you may not obviously use this kind of steps. If you understand how it generally works, you may simply find your very own way how to naturally normalize the blood pressure. So that's the idea. So not taking the pills, but naturally normalizing the blood pressure, as long as you understand how it works. Well, this is a core difference between the Western and the Eastern consciousness. So for the Eastern consciousness that I mostly share, it's not about understand first and do later. It's about you believe like teachings, the path. You just do things, and by the time you're doing, you getting more and more energy, and if you have enough energy, you suddenly start realizing how things are actually working. So for the Eastern consciousness, it's the matter of practice first, get some energy, and then the consciousness comes, and then maybe after 20 years, if you have good karma, you would realize why you've been doing all this stuff for all these years. If you don't have a good karma, most likely you would just spend your life for nothing. So yeah, it's really like roulette at some point. Uh, and for the Western consciousness, it's more like I don't like it personally because I don't share it, and unfortunately, I live in the world where the Western consciousness dominates. And also, I speak English, although this is not my native language. But it just happened that I'm talking to the community with the massive Western mindset. I have no idea why it's happening. So maybe I did something wrong in my past life. I don't know. But anyway, so for the Western consciousness, fortunately or unfortunately, the matter of taking a decision to do something, first of all, what they need is usually they need the understanding of what you are doing, how exactly, the technology, why to do this, and then maybe you would do this. So I have nothing else but to share my like couple of decades experience and try to convert the energy that I got this time, trying to convert this energy to sort of understanding that you may potentially benefit from or may not. I don't know. So no tutorials, just showing what I came up with. And if this is going to be useful to anyone, then yeah, I'll probably be happy. Okay, so going back to consciousness, going back to blood pressure. There are, if you have this measurement tool to like wrapping around your hand and then turn it on. If it's automatic, it just makes it, the pump starts working, it starts pressing your arm, and then the heartbeat starts, and then it starts counting that the pressure goes down, and when the heartbeat stops, that's the lower limit of the blood pressure. So we have the high limit where we like pump, and if it's not enough, the pulse is not happening. If it is enough, it's tight enough, the pulse starts happening. That's the upper bound of the pressure. And when it goes down, we have the lower limit of the pressure. Now, well, the normal, like 120, the upper limit, and 80 points for the lower limit. But we may have both of these limits, so like one limit, another limit. So we may have them higher or lower. But this is not the biggest issue. The biggest issue comes when we have upper going too high and lower stands like down. And another scenario, if when the upper is around even, around normal, and the lower goes up. So particularly, well, this scenario when the lower one goes up and the upper is not really going that much up, is what I want to focus at. Because when we just have this lower is okay and the upper is going like higher, that's usually related to you just try to do like everything, catch everything, try to get right in time, and your head start having a headache. So just calm down and sleep, and eat, whatever. Calm down, and it just get the revelation gets naturally. So this is the upper one. Is something that we can control with the state of our psyche. So if we get nervous, if we get tense, if we get like very like active, the upper pressure goes up. We just calm down, take a walk, whatever. It just naturally goes down. So it's not a big deal. Everyone knows that who has those issues. So it's not a big deal. So it's not about physical exercising or something. But the real problem comes when the lower limit of the pressure, of the blood pressure, goes up. And this feels like if our heart comes to the throat, and I'm trying to swallow my heart back to the chest, but I cannot because it's like over in here, and the head like starts pressing down, and I'm like in this state. Then panic attacks might start happening, all the nasty stuff that comes with this sort of a thing. So dealing with this one is much more different and also more interesting. So the idea is that like what does the upper level of blood pressure represent, and what does the lower level just to understand the mechanics of this. So the upper level, so the heart pumps the blood, and when the blood goes through the channels, uh, and what pressure do we have when the heart is working? So that's the upper limit. But when the heart relaxes, yeah, and there is no longer a like big pressure in the channels where the blood flows, and that's the lower limit. So if we have the lower limit too high, this means that heart doesn't rest, doesn't have a rest. So it works, and when it relaxes, the tension is still so big. So heart is very tense, and because the heart is tense, it just goes right over in here into your throat. You cannot swallow it, and feels like really bad. Panic attacks starts, all this stuff. So the problem is that we can think of the upper level of the blood pressure as the yen, yin yang Chinese stuff, you know. So upper blood pressure is like yen, and the inner blood pressure is like yin. So we can control yen quite easily by if we want to rise it, we can have some coffee, be inactive, and if we want to lower it down, then we oh my god, he's coming. He cannot miss any single video that I shoot for some reason. Yeah, so taking a cat, petting the cat also helps lowering down the upper limit. So we can control the upper limit. That's the core thing because it's yen. Yen can be controlled, but the lower limit, the yin, it cannot be controlled directly, and that's the biggest problem. So we cannot just do something in order to put this lower limit down. We just cannot. We can try to calm down, relax, but it still stays here and it's not going in. So how to deal with this kind of thing? And also, medicine is not really helping that much. So it's like it's just being stressed and it holds and it cannot let go. So we can indirectly deal with this. And the idea is the following. So we have the upper limit and we have the lower limit. So the lower limit goes up. And if we make things like this, so usually we're not being active often. So we just like calm down, relaxed, but not relaxed, like panic, but not doing pretty much anything. So what we need to do, so and because of this, we don't have much space between the lower limit and the upper limit. Because of this, we feel more and more pressure internally, and the heart goes here. So we need to artificially increase the upper level, and this would normalize like the distance between two. And this would mean that although the overall tension would be like too high, but we would have we would be capable of distinguishing between when we work and when we rest, when the heart works and when the heart rests. So that's the idea. And then when so like lower goes up, the lower goes up, and so we artificially increase the higher one, and then we just release the high one, and the lower is also going down. So it's like the following way. So it gets here, here, and here, 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 and here, 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 and here. So we encounter the situation when the lower gets too high. So we artificially increase the high one, and then we give away, let go the upper one, and this distance it's capped automatically. So both go down. Again, we have this artificially increasing, go down. This. So this is how it works, like from the back consciousness perspective. But how can we do this within the human body? That's the question. And this is the reason I'm talking for such a long time, just to like explain why did I include one very essential step. This one, so working out the backward central meridian, the actual action channel, so called. So why do we want that step to be? So the reason is, so say my heart is here, I'm like panic, I don't know what to do. So I now need to increase the upper level of the upper limit of my blood pressure. And for this, well, literally, I need literally to stretch my top hat a little bit. So I need to make more space between the top hat and between my throat. So heart comes here and very few space. So I need to increase the space up in there. And also I want to stretch down below. And suddenly when I stretch upwards and I stretch down below, I feel like I have some space and I can just breathe out and swallow and swallow. And it already feels a little bit better because I just made the upper limit of my blood pressure going a bit higher. I'm a little bit tensed, I'm a little bit stretched, a little bit like uh, like in a strong position, but uh, this helps me to make the distance between the lower limit and the upper limit. Okay, so how the step is done? I will first demonstrate how the step is done, and then I will show you how this works, how I figured out how it works within inside me without steps, just the bare inner principle, the mechanism. So the step itself, I kick start with an empty step, and then as if I was doing the wave like this. And to make the wave, I'm using the toe of the rear leg like this. I'm not waving like this, not at all. All this happens internally, but just to give you an idea where the motion comes from. So my palms are pushing down. It's not just lie down; they push, literally push down. So this helps me to. I'm not only stretching from top. I'm also stretching down below. So I'm pushing downwards, and then my rear leg, it just goes like this, and it's pushing me, and I'm not like pushing the entire body. So I have this downwards, and this remains downwards. And when I start pushing, I literally start stretching the top hat. And this top step is called like no weight in the backward leg. So I just go to the front leg, front leg, front leg, front leg, and I don't have a weight in my backward leg. So my spine starts being a little bit like this. So a little bit like this. So I stretch myself. Try to be taller than I am. So stretching myself. And then like so. So just make a few steps. So pushing down and then stretching, 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 and stretched. Pushing down and then stretching, 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 pushing down and stretching. And the result gets the following. So I go like, I stretch, 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 stretch. Go and stretch. So when I do this for a long time, it just happens that the spine becomes quite straight. So my top hat goes like upwards, my tailbone goes downwards, and I'm stretching between these two points. So I'm just stretching up, and I feel like much better because the harder was here. Like I just stretch upwards, I stretch downwards, and I have some potential suddenly. And when I do this for quite a bit of time, now I have not only the lower limit of the blood pressure being a bit too high, but I've increased my upper limit. And when I've increased the upper limit, that now it's time to keep this distance and also let go the upper limit and make all the pressure be normalized. And hence we have the backward step with the front central meridian, perception meridian. So I just go backwards. So again, what happens? So I sort of make the upper and lower limits stretched, okay? And then when they are stretched, yeah, I put both backwards down below. I put both limits backwards down below. Put them backwards down below. So we have both steps. They go into the following. So I just stretch, okay, and then I just pull them back. And then again, stretch, 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 and then just going backwards. Obviously, I may do a few steps forwards. It's like step forward, step forward, step forward, and then step backwards, and step backwards. So finally, just want to quickly demonstrate how this principle works within the human body regardless of the steps. So the problem, so I would be showing with my hands again the upper and the lower limit and the problem. So let's say the upper limit is fixed. So normally lower level should be somewhere around 10, yeah, like if we have the physical projection of the lower limit. So yeah, so it just goes up and the heart goes to right over in here. It's not good. So we first try to stretch the head and pull this down, and internally, like the side view maybe. So I'm not like this, I'm like trying to stretch myself, yeah? Stretching. And then like pushing down this one, pulling up this one, and then just this two like goes going downwards. So I've been demonstrating some Aikido last summer. So all the from central meridian where Aikido is like done, yeah. So the stance, Kamae stance, yeah. So this Kamae stance, regardless of hands and stuff, so it's just the state of the step when you have everything like tensed. And then we have this relaxation, where not the action meridian but the perception meridian starts working, so it's literally swallowing. So with this front central meridian, just like the lower limit of the heart, of the blood pressure, we cannot forcibly push it down, but we can relax and swallow it. It just happens naturally. But in order to make it possible, we first need to have this like tension, like stretching, and then we go down. So that's the idea. And when this is clear, so these two steps are just very representative, but literally whatever, like this exercise, the Shogun, it's also, it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of a similar step. So the first phase we just stretch. The second phase you just come down, relax. But it's a little bit different. It's not that good for heart. It's good for general like seeing qi down to dan yen. So it's also a very important principle, but it's not exactly related to the heart, I would say. And generally the core step, the walking step, like creates potential, let go. Creates potential, let go. So what is this? This is the same thing. So it's like if I just, as if I go this step, okay, so I go this, yeah, so create potential, but here I do externally stretching, yeah, and here I stretch internally, and I internally let go. I stretch internally, and I internally let go. So stretch internally and let go. So this is how it works. And last but not least, and probably we end up here, I don't want to give too much of information and stop exactly where I stopped researching this. So one of unexpected things that I've revealed just today, just literally during the filming of this, of today's practice, is that uh, I don't know if this the matter of those particular steps that I've selected from the entire set of walking Qigong, where we have around 72 or something. Those available to me are around 48 steps. There would be links down below visit in the description for all those available steps. Yeah, I forgot to put this to the previous video, so I need to do this as well. But it doesn't matter really. So I took 21 steps. So first I took 20 steps, and today I've added one more. So today is like 21 step. And I don't know whether this is the matter of the particular set that I've taken, that I've chosen, or maybe this is like regardless of what I've chosen. Probably this is regardless of what I've chosen, I think. Is that surprisingly to me, it just happens that despite all the steps how they are done, this matter of Xiao Yao, like carefree, no worry, wandering around the world with Taoist principle, it's really related to heart somehow, interestingly. So yes, the lower Dantian is obviously like the driver of this steps. Like it's all clear, it's all understandable, but generally it feels like the entire set is more um, pointing to the heart. So it's like as if it was based around the heart. So sinking heart to Dantian and making the heart like widespreading to the world. So this is what it's doing, quite interestingly. Um, and when you practice for a long time, the resulting power is not that you feel like strong and want to do something. You do get lots of energy because working out legs makes you like charging yourself from the ground quite nicely and strongly. But the resulting power, I would say, is like this worries like go out. I just calm down. Again, like as if like heart sinks to Dantian, and you start, like feel the joy because the sun is shining. It will, even although it's frosty, and I don't like when it's frosty outside. But even this makes me kind of smiling and happy. This is very strange because I was never into this aspect of the Qigong, although this is the main aspect. I was never into this. Yeah, that's funny. I know. Uh, and another interesting thing is that I just want to say a few words about my teacher, which has been teaching me uh, lots of things, and I was rejecting literally every single thing he was teaching me about. And now, interestingly, after so many years, it's like almost 20 years, I suddenly start realizing that as if I've been through exactly the same principles and processes that he has been through back in the day. And this is so interesting. And only now I start understanding like what did he mean like many years ago when I attended his seminars, etc. So it starts getting more and more clear to me now how this works. So he has been describing the state of heart, how it exactly. I just feel this, yeah. But this is so funny because when I feel this, like, this is exactly what he has been talking about. I think so, and this is so cool that like after so many years, I accidentally got into this somehow. Yeah. Okay, guys. So enough talking, probably. So I got lots of things to do apart from this, and we'll tell you goodbye. Thanks for watching, and I really hope to see you next week in the next video. This is from my side. Thanks for watching. See you later, and cheers.